Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic. That's who we're looking at.
Like this guy, he's only 25 years old, and this guy is unmitigated trash whenever it matters most in the fourth quarters. He's loafing up and down the court on defense to save himself so he could stuff his all-important hollow box score. This guy is the European LeBron James, Jason, which is why it is so utterly hilarious to me. Look, I agree with the messaging of Windhorse, but that guy, the principal LeBron sycophant for the primary majority of his career, he went to St. Vincent St. Mary's, the same high school as LeBron. He was 4 years ahead of LeBron, and he's been riding LeBron's coattails throughout his entire career. And now he's going to bash Luka Doncic for essentially doing the same exact things LeBron James has done throughout the course of his career. But again, I suppose, don't kill the messenger. Everything he said is utterly spot on. And Luka Doncic has
hold for 1 second,
long way to go.
Hold for 1 second, Scap. Hold for 1 second. Are we sure we're being fair dragging LeBron James into this? Are you sure you're being fair? LeBron, I've never, other than that Miami series against the Dallas Mavericks, and LeBron recovered from that. But I just don't ever remember, well, I did just miss the Mavericks series. And so LeBron disappeared and seemed to back away from that. But I'm just not sure. I can't, and I'm a LeBron critic, and I'm a big Brian Windhorse fan, and I don't think you're being fair to Brian, call him a sycophant. But keep your opinion. You don't have to back down. I just want to inject. But are we sure LeBron has Luka? Well, LeBron looked really bad after that Dallas series. So that is the equivalent. But I'm not sure if Windhorse needed to bring up LeBron James in this whole discussion, and I'm not sure if it's fair. Well, it actually is. I keep going back to it.
Jason, look, it wasn't his first final series. LeBron's first final series was in the 2007 finals against the San Antonio Spurs, where those were close games. Two of those games were one-score games in the final 2 minutes. LeBron shot 35% from the field for a 4-game sweep in that San Antonio series in 2007. Then he's coming off of, look, people talk about LeBron's a young player in that Miami-Dallas series, that famed choke job in 2011. LeBron was in his 7th NBA season. He was the league MVP the 2 previous years coming into that series. He had Dwayne Wade, who was averaging like 27 points per game on 55% shooting in that Dallas final series. Chris Bosh was averaging 17 and 10 throughout that series. All LeBron had to do was not throw up all over himself, and he couldn't do it. He scored, Jason, 0 points in clutch time for that 6-game series. 0. And he too was having these absolute vanishing acts in the fourth quarter, just like Luka is right now. And, say maybe LeBron recovered. Just the last 2 seasons, Jason, against the Denver Nuggets, the Lakers dominated massive stretches of that series, and they won 1 total game because LeBron James just completely vanished down the stretch in the fourth quarters. All of those games pretty much were within like 3 points in the last 2 minutes. And LeBron just couldn't get it over the top. He shot like 28% in the 4-game sweep in the Western Conference Finals last season. And this is with Anthony Davis, who's a top 10 league-wide player. This has dogged LeBron James his entire career. And then he too could win 3 or 4 championships and have these ridiculous, gaudy box scores at the end of his 18, 20-year career. And we can start, propping him up in these GOAT hierarchy debates fraudulently, just like LeBron James.
Man, I was about to say, well, hold on. In Cleveland, when LeBron won a championship, that wasn't a super team. He just had Kyrie Irving, but didn't he have Kevin Love? So I may be talking myself out of that.
Jason, Kevin Love.
The analogy works.
Look, everyone wants to make fun of Kevin Love, and revisionist history is, Kevin Love wasn't a great player during that time. He was 25 years old when he joined that Cleveland team, and that deal was a trade. They traded the #1 overall pick in that draft to bring Kevin Love into town because he was an absolute stud in the previous seasons in Minnesota. He was second-team All-NBA in 2 of the 3 previous years before he teamed up with Kyrie and LeBron in Cleveland. And the only reason he wasn't first-team All-NBA is because at that point there was still positionality to the All-NBA teams, and he played forward. Kevin Durant and LeBron James were the 2 forwards on the first team during those years. Otherwise, Kevin Love would have been a first-team All-NBA player. Jason, the year before he went to Cleveland, his last year in Minnesota, he was like top 2 in the NBA in all of the advanced analytics. When you look at win share, PER, BPM, VORP, I mean, this guy was easily a top 10 player, at least offensively. Then he goes to become the 3rd best player on the Cleveland Cavaliers team. And even if you drill into that finals run, look, LeBron averaged like 26 points per game throughout that entire playoff run in 2016 when they won the championship. Kyrie Irving averaged 25 points per game, like 1 point per game fewer. And he was an absolute monster, Kyrie was, in games 5 and 7 in the NBA finals, hitting the game-winning shot, let's not forget, the game-winning series-clinching shot in the Oracle against that Golden State team. LeBron James, he just systematically has had stacked, loaded rosters.
Scap, man, you are loaded for bear. Can't believe it. I was not prepared to believe that coming into this conversation, but you've talked me into. Look. Luka's just 25. And I do think in order for Luka to be better on the defensive end, he's just flat out got to get in better shape. He's got to go Rocky Balboa and run the stairs, move to Philadelphia, run the stairs, do all that stuff. He's got to just be in better shape if he wants to compete on the defensive end. And I do think because there will be a level of criticism at this point in his career that LeBron did not face. Because take LeBron in the San Antonio series early in Cleveland. I remember covering that series and being there. I remember thinking, he's young. Tim Duncan, Popovich, Manu, and Tony Parker. You know, LeBron, these guys were overmatched. No one criticized LeBron, really, in my view, until he, took his talents to South Beach. And so anyway, I think Luka's going to get hit with so much criticism. He is going to get into the lab, and he'll have no choice. He won't be protected by his skin color. There won't be people sitting on ESPN saying, "What about Brett Favre?" or "What about some white guy or whatever." He's going to have to deal with this criticism.